What's going on, y'all? This is Joe from The Moral Truth with Kobe once again.
Hey, this is Kobe out here, hitting you guys live again from the East Coast. It's Monday, and it's the first day of the week. I know it's a rough day of the week, but we all getting out there and getting it. It's the moral truth. Just trying to give you, a little bit of input about y'all's situations.
Exactly. So we switched it up this week and we did part two of leadership. We're going to slow it down this week. We're going to talk about a little bit of relationships. And I think, or 2022, a lot of it's things since the pandemic. And it's a lot of different relationships now, man. You know, I, do you think it's hard, Kobe, you've been married for like 4 or 5 years, right?
Oh yeah, been
Yeah.
four or
So,
5 years now, happily married.
and I think it's a different myself. It's really different when you're out there now trying to look for that person or that soulmate. And I think the biggest start, like, hey, let me say this: do you believe in a soulmate?
I would say I do believe in a soulmate. I mean, a lot of times we always think it's our soulmate. You know what I mean? And every single time you go through a relationship, and you go to the next one, it seems like that's your soulmate. So I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but when you really hit that one, though, I mean, that's the one.
I mean, so what really dictates? So I've been doing this, reading these things, looking at these, the signs, and I feel like maybe I think there is that person meant for that person. Now I tell you right now, what the biggest problem is I think a lot of guys get out here and they're looking for the most prettiest woman, the one that looks like that social media queen, right? Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. A lot of men out here nowadays, yeah, and women are just looking for the hottest dude or the hottest woman they've ever seen, out there, and they're just kind of going off of looks.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, that was me, years back, and you have to realize too is that you're talking about growth with a person, right? Now, looks don't last forever. And we're okay with that because we're all change and we all age, whether it's shape or size. And, you know, if you're just getting for looks, then obviously that's just for the lust because you don't know what's in that person's head. And I think I look at like
Exactly.
yourself, Kobe, you're like your marriage. I've been, a witness of your marriage and and I can see, how you guys compliment each other. And and it had me thinking too, like, now he's a young man and we're out here doing this thing 2022. If I'm trying to build a kingdom and I'm that king, I need that queen, right? Because without any a successful king needs a queen to help rule his kingdom. Now,
Yeah, no, I agree.
so with you, I look at you and I say, hey, Kobe has a successful queen. She works. She, takes care of the kids. She's out there a go getter, has a degree. A congrats. And she compliments you, right? Now, I guarantee you, myself, when I first met Kobe, he wasn't even thinking in that aspect. And this was a few years back. I guarantee he was the same way. It was looking for, hey, the next TikTok star or something, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was. But back in the day, that's kind of how it was. I mean, when I was younger and I was coming up and I wasn't thinking about, all those things. I mean, it's really just experience, but I wasn't not thinking about that. I was just looking for the prettiest thing I could, I laid my eyes on.
And that's the thing though, fellas, we have to get away from that because at the end of the day, looks is not going to buy you a home. Looks is not going to buy you a car unless I guess they get a modeling contract somewhere. But I mean, what is the percentage of that? Now, I think honestly, would you want somebody is to compliment you, and we need to look more for that person who is our best friend, the one you can laugh with, actually relate to, come home and tell something to. And when you found that, I think that's when you're talking about that soulmate because you're not looking for, you're past the looks now. You're on the strength of the mentality, how this person thinks. You know, um, I didn't think enough about it, and I have gone through so much stuff, man, and I've been through a lot. And
Oh yeah.
sometimes you just don't have process. And I'm be honest with you, I put my stuff out there. I had one like that, man, and good head on the shoulders, was always teaching me, talking about, hey, best be debt free, etc. You know, preaching all good stuff. But at that time, my mentality was just not there because I'm thinking about other things, and and I do believe stress can wear and tear on you and not make you the same person who you are until you become stress free. Um, so that plays a lot of it. But then I sit back and look now. I'm like, hey, that was a golden gem right there. And I honestly believe that when we say soulmates, I feel like when you run across that person that makes you better, meaning has, you know, you are, successfully gaining, because you can get with women and you're not gaining anymore. You're going to the negatives because that person is sucking away from you. When you get somebody who's putting you in the positives and you're gaining, I honestly believe that is the soulmate factor. I mean, what do you say about that, Kobe?
I mean, I would agree 100%, but I mean, every situation is different, so it's hard to gauge that. I mean, relationships are tenfold. I mean, there's so many different aspects of a relationship, but I know that when I was young and in high school and middle school, and I was out there looking for a soulmate, which was way too young to be doing something like that. But I mean, that's just kind of where I was at in my life, and it was foolish of me at that age because you have to understand people have to, men, women, doesn't matter. They have to be ready and willing that they want to have someone to settle down with. I mean, it's fun. We all know, we have our nights, we go out, we have a few drinks or whatever, and we do our thing or whatever, and that's fun and all, but that's not forever. You know what I mean? It's not forever. It's all fun and games, but and nowadays in 2022, with the way TikTok is and freaking what's it called, Tinder and all the apps that are out there that
The
everybody's using,
gram,
I
baby,
mean,
the gram.
it's crazy. Yeah, the gram, I mean, everything, but it's crazy to me because every woman and every man out there is going to be somebody's lawfully wedded husband and wife one day, and we're out here just abusing stuff left and right. I mean, look at OnlyFans. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I don't think it's call me old fashioned, but I don't know how you can look at someone later on in life after going through some things like that, and it's just hard. It's very hard, I would say. Especially like you were saying, I've been married for 4 or 5 years, and how much has changed now. It's definitely different. But to be calling somebody your soulmate, I mean, that's very serious. You know what I mean? That's a connection that's you can't compete with. I mean, there's nothing. A soulmate is a soulmate.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You just never know. I think now let's put on the basis. Hey, what about those ones who get married? Right out of high school and the first 3 years, aspects before they're 21. Now, do we think they've actually found their soulmate? Because reading into the percentage, it's low percentage for anybody getting married 21 and under, right? If they got married that early, the divorce rate is so high on that. But there's some who make it. Now, the some who made it, we got to get through. I want to, we need to talk to them because they actually they've been through some ups and downs. And I think in 2022, or, even not even right now, I think we're just in a phase. I mean, come on, Kobe. Honestly, I will say, like, if you were having hard times with your spouse, would you quit or would you keep pursuing to fight because you want to, this is the person you want to build your foundation with, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. But I would say that it's hard to gauge that only because I have children with my wife, and with having children with your wife, I mean, you always keep that in the back of your head whenever you might have something come up, whenever you think you're mad or you think you're upset or whatever. I mean, it always brings me back to that point where I sat there and watched life, come from my wife and the family that we created together and the kingdom that I've built. And, you might have these little things that really upset you one day or something that you really don't agree with. Like, for example, in my relationship with my wife is Filipino. I am, just American. And there's a definite cultural difference where I don't understand some things of my wife's culture and she don't understand some things of the American culture here in America. And we have to do what is called, and everybody should know this, but it's called, meeting in the middle. You know what I mean? We gotta be even on both sides, and there's some things that I gotta, compensate with as far as her cultural difference, and some things that she might have to, compensate with as well on my side of the fence. But that's all what a relationship is about. Duking it out and meeting in the middle on things. You have to. If you can't do that in a relationship, I mean, off of the get, you probably shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think the biggest thing I'm trying to harp on is too is fighting for what you believe in. And I think with a lot of relationships, especially now, is when something happens, we go and tell our friends, we tell our cousins, we go to the family. And now everybody has this bad taste in their mouth, right? Of this person, but in hindsight, you're just venting, but you're venting to the wrong person because your family, your friends now have a bad taste, and now they're putting in their third party information. And I think third party information kills a lot of relationship because it puts a person in a predicament where you messed up and told that the family some negative things, and now they have a negative perception on this person. That person has to work so hard to get back into the positive because even though that person told him, you stayed, right? So I mean, Kobe, if you're gonna stay with that individual, you're gonna work on it, then you got to get the third parties out because they're not the relationship anymore, right?
Oh, I would say yes, but I kind of don't agree. Just because if you love somebody and that person's your forever and always, why does the opinion of others matter? It does not. And I would also note that the people that you're telling this to that are acting in that manner, yes, they care about you, but it's almost childish to act against somebody that you don't even know, or maybe you do know them because of what someone has told you. I mean, if someone's coming to you and talking to you, it's because they need someone to talk to. They're just venting off their thoughts and opinions to have your thoughts and opinions. But a wise man once told me that at the end of the day, only you know your relationship like you. So the opinions of others should be mindless to you. I mean, it shouldn't even touch your relationship at all. It
Right.
should only give you food for thought.
Exactly. Exactly. And that food for thought is good, man, because I honestly feel like I need more people out there devoted to, hey, you're gonna have all kind of hiccups. And I read a quote um, not too long ago before we even you got on the subject, and just a quick synopsis of it. It basically said that love will always be strong. A couple's relationship is gonna be tested day in and day out. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have good days. You can have bad days, but it's all about fighting through those bad days to make up to those good days. And at that point, if you're in a relationship and you built foundation and memory together, I think at this point, do a lot of people want to start all over again, or can you think that you can fight to make it better? Because some say, hey, it's not worth salvaging. Just you're young. Just go ahead and do something else. But let's say you put I don't know years into it, and you got memories and X, Y, and Z, and you start over again. Starting over is hard. You know, it is hard.
Oh yeah, I know. I know starting over is hard, but it shouldn't be the motivator of why you stay together.
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't be the motivator either. I think it takes two, right? It takes two.
Yeah, well, even though in our head, when we're in a relationship, and that I don't know what it is about how the human brain works, whether you're female or male, it's on both sides of the fence. When you're in a relationship and you start thinking about starting over, it makes you not want to leave that person, and then you start going through all the memories in your head, and then it becomes painful, and you don't want to detach. And a lot of times, I mean, relationships get bad and they get abusive, and people will stay and put up with that abuse, or maybe just put up with being not happy and not satisfied as far as feeling the love from one another in that relationship because they're so scared to leave. That's a huge problem actually in 2022, and especially in today's day and age with social media and how the family can find out things so quickly and how things can escalate very quickly. I mean, look at all the trials and all the huge issues that have arose from famous actors and musicians and everything else with their relationships. I mean, none of that should even be put out there to the world to see because none of their business. You know what I mean? But that's just today's day and age. So there is a lot of scarcity, among young individuals, or it could be older individuals. Doesn't matter about separating and being able to leave that year or 2 years of relationship that you built up with somebody, even though you know it's wrong in your head. See, the heart always loves, the heart always wants, but the head always knows what's right. And sometimes it's hard to listen to the black and white, which is something's wrong.
Right, right. And that's the basis of saying like the 4 years. Now, I know we're gonna close it out a little bit, but I read something that says psychologically speaking, right? If you got somebody on your mind, it correlates to meaning that that other person is thinking about you too. What do you think about that, Cole? You think that's a really a good? I mean, that statement, is that true? I mean, in your eyes, do you think that's true? Like, let's just say
I
somebody,
mean,
they've been separated for a while, no contact, not at all, and both parties are probably maybe moving, going left or right. But this is actually psychologically, and it's I'm just trying to get a vague on it from our listeners, but reading on it, man, they got some good points about it. But what did you feel about it?
I would just say that would be hearsay as far as I mean, that's hearsay. I mean, who knows if it's really true? Who knows if it's not really true? I mean, there used to be myths going around that when someone was thinking about you, you got an itch or something. I mean, who knows? I mean, psychologically, maybe it's true. I mean, maybe
Ooh,
it's a
shoot,
true
let me get
soulmate.
itchy up in here.
But I would always say that if it's real, if it's really real, and it's meant to be, that person, you will cross paths with them again. If it was meant to be, it will be. And that's all I can say about that period. If it's meant to be, it will be. That's it. You just gotta let it be.
Hey, that's a good quote, man. That is a good saying. To close it out, I think that if people meet again and I believe this too. If you come back and you guys keep on finding each other, then it's something putting you there for a reason. And I
Yep.
think you said like you come back. You did come back and you came back. Then figure it out because something in the universe keeps on pulling you back multiple times. It's not just out of boredom, it's pulling you back. So figure it out, right? So in closing, y'all, we're gonna have to do a part two on this. And the part two, we're gonna have to be talking about that same thing Kobe was hit on the end, is bringing you back. Do we feel like if the universe or the higher echelon, if there's something there to help this love triangle? We'll figure it out part two. What do you think, Kobe?
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have to hit a part two on this. I mean, relationships you can go on forever about it, but relationships are, well, like I said, every person's different, every relationship's different. But we're definitely gonna break it down here in part two. So definitely stay tuned. I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Like I said, I know it's Monday. Just try to stay motivated and stay hungry.
Hey, once again, I appreciate y'all listening to the cast. We're just dipping into everything. Once again, we're not relationship experts, but we're just talking on experiences that we have crossed paths with. When you're out there, hey, make sure you grab your loved one. Make sure you express yourself, tell feelings, let them know you love them, give them a hug. Hey, fellas, it's okay to be, emotional. It's okay to let those feelings on the table because if they don't know, it's obviously going to cause problems in the near future. So, hey, it's okay to be young manly sometimes and let it know. But hey, guys, we're gonna drop a part two to this soon. Be on the lookout for that one. Y'all have a good week. I love y'all once again. Keep on grinding, stay blessed, and keep on working hard for everything you want.